Testing. Loud. Four score and 7 years ago. Good. Yeah. Okay. go down a little bit on the level. All right, welcome everybody. I'm going to first confirm that we have everybody that we're expecting. I think we have Ms. Baca, and I see Ms. Romero is here. So we can get started. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I am Taylor Hartstein. Sorry, we're trying something new this month. And we're still making sure everything is working. Okay, great. I think we can maybe go down a little bit in the level, yeah. Okay, I'm Taylor Hartstein. I'm the hearing officer for the Sustainable Land Development Code appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. We have one matter on the agenda today, to the best of my understanding, and that is the Catherine Baca variance requests. First, I'll confirm with the staff that there are no changes to the agenda today.
Hearing Officer Hartstein, there are no changes to today's agenda.
Okay, in that case, I will call case number 25-5290, and I'll request that the staff give its presentation.
Thank you, Hearing Officer Hartstein. Destiny Romero, Building and Development Review Specialist Senior. Catherine Baca, applicant, requests a variance of Chapter 9, Section 9.12, Table 9-12-3, Dimensional Standards of the Sustainable Land Development Code. The request is to allow a minor subdivision of a parcel consisting of approximately 0.684 acres and to allow no minimum setback as required by Chapter 9, Section 9.12.2. The base zoning allows one dwelling unit per 0.75 acres. The Agua Fria Community District Overlay provides that density may be increased to one dwelling unit per 0.33 acres if the lot is served by public water and sewer. The property is located at 2062 Terrazas Lane. The property lies within the Village of Agua Fria Community District Overlay, Commission District 2. The property currently contains 3 single-family dwelling structures. One of the structures has a common wall dividing it into 2 dwellings, thus making a total of 4 dwelling units on the property. One residence is connected to a septic system, while the other 3 are connected to the City of Santa Fe sewer system and Village of Agua Fria water. The applicant had a survey prepared and recorded in 1986 for the condominium, but the survey was not approved by the Santa Fe County Land Use Administrator. However, staff has provided an aerial map in 1978 pre-code that shows all existing structures for the proposed subdivision. The applicants have addressed the variance criteria and staff has responded to the applicant's comments as contained in the memo. Staff's recommendation for denial of the requested variances for density and setbacks in the report was made based on standard practice for such variances because the requests are necessary only because of the applicant's preference to subdivide the property into multiple lots where those lots would not meet the density requirements of the SLDC, and the duplex unit would be split by a future 0 lot line. However, after further consideration, staff is not opposed to the variance requests because they would not result in any visible physical change to the property, contrary to the public interest. This is different and unique from other recent variance cases, which have either been requested to create lots for new or future development that does not exist yet and would not comply with current codes, or due to unpermitted or illegal development that increase density above the maximum allowed, regardless of any proposed subdivision. The facts of this case show that the existing structures or dwellings all existed before the 1981 Land Use Code and are legally non-conforming. No construction is proposed at this time, and staff's understanding is that the variances are necessary to allow for a subdivision that allows the existing owners to essentially convert their interests from the unapproved prior condominium into separate lots. While the applicants can continue to use their property without these variances, such that there is not a hardship per se, there may be some practical difficulties presented for current and future owners if the current condominium ownership structure is not resolved. If the hearing officer finds that the application has met the variance criteria and recommends approval of the variance, staff recommends the following conditions at a minimum be imposed. Hearing Officer Hartstein, may I enter the conditions into the record?
Yes, the conditions are entered into the record. Thanks.
Thank you. I stand for any questions.
Okay, so my understanding is there's a deviation today in the hearing from the recommended denial in the written staff report to a position of not opposing the variance. Is that right?
Hearing Officer Hartstein, yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay. I have a question about the public water and sewer requirement in the variance standard. So I think you mentioned that there are 4 dwellings, and one of them is on septic. The other 3 have water intake, I understand, and also sewer. And then the one with septic has, I think, public water intake, but is on a septic system for sewer. Is that right?
Hearing Officer Hartstein, yes, sir, that is correct.
Does that meet the variance standard requiring if they were to be subdivided and the variance were to be approved, does that meet the variance standards requirement that they be served by public water and sewer?
Hearing Officer Hartstein, yes, sir. Actually, if they do get approved, the applicant that is connected to the septic will be required to connect to the city sewer as well.
Okay, understood. And is that a condition? Would that be a condition of approval of the variance?
Hearing Officer Hartstein, yes, sir. That is condition number 4.
I see that. Okay, great.
Hearing Officer Hartstein, I also just want to mention that if the variance is approved, that the applicant will also be required to decommission the septic, as required by all NMED requirements.
Okay. I think you've addressed some of the questions that I had. Basically, if the variance were approved, is kind of the status quo going to continue, except for this decommissioning of the septic and connecting to the public sewer? Basically, is it going to be, the same structures with the same owners, but instead of being a condominium that's non-compliant, it would be a 4-lot subdivision that, with the variance, would be compliant with the SLDC?
Hearing Officer Hartstein, that is correct.
Okay. And I think you mentioned that this is a fairly unique situation in which the structures have basically been on the property in their present state since 1978. I guess generally speaking, how is it addressed when the SLDC, coming into effect in 2016, makes a pre-existing property non-compliant? Is this a fairly unique situation, or are there other instances in which this has been handled similarly?
Hearing Officer Hartstein, so it would be a similar situation where we would go through legal nonconforming to see if the structures were legal, and then a variance request would also have to, be obtained. This is, special in its circumstances, as all the structures are remaining and not to be changed. They're legal nonconforming from 1978. Where in previous cases, we've had people want to go through this process to propose extra dwellings or additional dwellings. Therefore, that's why we felt that that's a substantial change and does go against SLDC and is, does go against, the public interest.
Okay, and so I guess my question would just be to confirm my understanding that this is an extremely unique set of circumstances, and it results from basically 50 years of the property being in its present condition, right?
Hearing Officer Hartstein, that is correct.
Yeah, and Hearing Officer Hartstein, I would add this one I think is especially kind of unique because of the condominium circumstances. I don't believe there's many condominium associations like this in Santa Fe County. So trying to do this conversion of ownership it makes it a little different as well.
Okay, understood. Thanks. I don't have any more questions for the staff. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And so at this time, I'd like to invite the applicant, Ms. Baca, to speak and first to be sworn in and state your address. Thanks.
Catherine Baca, and I live at 2060 Terrazas 9A. I do. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So first, I'd like to invite you to make a statement, and then I might have a few questions for you after that. So if you have anything prepared, that's fine, or I can just start asking questions. Okay. Is this better?
As far as hearing,
Yes.
yes, it is.
Okay.
How weird.
So first, I think the volume has been increased behind the scenes. First, I'd like to invite you to make a statement if you have any statement, and then I may have a few questions for you.
I guess basically what I would like to say is that we never have done anything with any intention of going against any code or whatever. And 50 years ago, we did get building permits, which were not through the county at that time. And then we became, I mean, if I owned all of it like I originally did, this would just be grandfathered in. But because different owners came within the situation, we became a condominium association in 1985, which was probably not the best advice. Somebody should have said, talk to land use before they just did that. This was a lawyer. And then after that, I went to the county several times to tell them we weren't assessed correctly. And nobody ever said, talk to land use. And then in 2012, we were reassessed. And at that time, I asked the assessor, how can we each own our individual properties without being a condominium association? And we were told, once you get sewer and water, you can do that. And they should have said, talk to land use. So I feel like I was kind of misdirected by the county all along the way. Otherwise, we would have taken care of this a long time ago. And so our situation right now is kind of dire because when we first started the condominium association, it was fine and good because we were like family and everybody got along. Well, now, since I started this process in 2022, 2 of the owners have died, and now I'm the only owner-occupied unit there. And units are going to go for sale, and I'm afraid of what's going to be there. And will that person play nice in a condominium association situation? So mainly, I just want to eliminate the condominium association so that we're not dependent on each other.
Understood. And so just to confirm, in terms of owner occupants, you're the through line from at least 1985 to the present. You're the only one presently occupying any of the structures who have been there that whole time.
Sorry.
Sorry. So just to confirm, you currently are the only owner occupant who has been there since at least 1985, but
Since
perhaps prior to that.
72 is.
Okay. And I think you mentioned, and I think this also goes to the uniqueness of this request, that you had been proactive in 1985, subsequently in 2012, and then 2022, you had been kind of seeking to resolve this situation and to make sure that you were following the applicable rules, right?
Yeah, it wasn't until 2022 that we found out that we were not a legal lot of record. And that was because I called the assessor because his term was going to end. And I said, remember when you told me we could each own our individual properties when we had sewer and water? Well, we had sewer, we didn't have water, so we held off. And I mean, we had water, but we didn't have sewer. But then we got sewer. And so he said, let me call you back. And when he called me back, he had land use on the phone. And
Okay.
That's when I found out we were not a legal out of record. When all along I thought we were doing everything correctly.
Understood. It's been a long time, but I'm glad you found the correct place to go. All right. Are you willing to confirm that you would comply with all of the conditions of variance approval that are specified in the
Sure.
staff report?
No problem with any of it. Yeah.
Are you also okay with all of the conditions specified by the agencies, including I think it's the fire investigator?
Yeah. When the county put in the sewer, they created a hammerhead. And we have, when the Water Association put in the water, we have a fire hydrant on the property. It's all, like he said, like Dominic said, that nothing is going to change. It's just going to all be the same.
Okay. And I saw some of the letters of support and the signatures for support. As far as you know, is there anyone who opposes the requested variance?
No. I mean, they would be here today if they
Right.
would. And Hearing Officer Hartstein, I have 30 of those signatures are all from the village. 11 of them are family and friends. And of those 30, one is a former county assessor, one is a former county manager, and one is the ex-planning commissioner chair. And we have a letter of support from the Village Association and the Water Association. So I think that those people realize that this is okay situation.
Sure. Yeah, and it seems like a very active community organization.
Oh, I'm the treasurer of the Village Association for a long time now, and I helped develop our community organization, so I'm very involved. I know more about the Sustainable Land Use Code than I ever wanted to.
Makes more than one of us. Great. I appreciate that. You'll have the opportunity to have the final word. But next, I'm going to open it up to any members of the public or representatives of residential organizations or community organizations who are here in person and would like to make a statement. And then after that, I'll go to people who are with us on the video conference. So anyone in person who would like to make a statement, either in support or in opposition. I see a gentleman down front, and I'll ask you to approach the microphone. And Ms. Baca, you can stand aside for now. I'll ask you to state your name, be sworn, and address, and be sworn in.
William Mee. I'm president of the Agua Fria Village Association. My address is 2073 Camino Samuel Montoya, Santa Fe, New Mexico. I do. So I came prepared hunting for bear because at that point we were facing the denial and we felt that that was very unfair. So I have my 4 pages here. But I'm going to dispense with that. But I think that, we need to have, the Agua Fria Village Association as a community organization needs to have a public meeting with the growth management department director and various staff because the whole idea behind the denial, it really goes in the face of why we have community plans. I mean, sure, we have the Sustainable Land Development Code, but it doesn't trump everything that we've done in planning. And so, and poor Ms. Baca with her non-conforming non-legal lot of record, I'm sure we've got a whole slew of them in the village, and we're scheduled to do a new community plan update, and so I'd like to see all of those lots fixed for in perpetuity, right? So thank you, hearing officer, for listening to my gripe.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate it.
All these people are from the village in support of Catherine's.
Thank you for pointing that out. And I'll note that the Sustainable Growth Management staff are subject to some very stringent criteria for these requests, and that they, in my experience, have done a very good job of evaluating those criteria. But I appreciate that there's always room for further discussion and for planning. So thank you for your statement, and it's good to know that the people that are in person are here in support of the variance request. I will ask just if there's anyone in person who is opposed to the request. You can let yourself be known at this time. If anybody else would like to make a statement either in support or in opposition, you're welcome to at this time. And if not, we'll go to the video conference. All right, seeing no one on the floor in person, I'll ask if there's anyone on the video conference who would like to make a statement, again, either in support or in opposition.
Hearing Officer Hartstein, there are people online, but nobody has their virtual hand raised. If anyone is wishing to speak on this matter, if you'd please raise your virtual hand. That way I could call on you.
If you don't know how to raise a virtual hand, just turn on your camera and raise your actual hand, and we can do that as well.
Hearing Officer Hartstein, no one at this time is indicating that they're wishing to speak on this matter.
Okay. Then I will invite Ms. Baca up to give us the final word if she has anything else to add.
They've been very helpful with me and helping me get through this. It's been a long road. We spent a lot of money on lawyers who did nothing. And I finally was so frustrated, and they reached out and they helped walk me through this. So I appreciate you guys very much.
That's good to know. Thank you, Ms. Baca. Thank you, everybody, for attending in person, and thanks to the staff for your presentation. With that, I will note that I will prepare a written recommendation with findings of fact and conclusions of law, and I will send that in to the staff within 15 business days. Thank you. We are off the record.